Shall we begin?
All right, so we'll start now, yeah. Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everybody. Thank you for joining us. Today's session will be gamifying the online learning experiences with animated digital storybook using Keynote. One breath. Long title. Okay, today's session, Dr. Hati, can you go to the next slide? Thank you. So today's session is the 7th session, right? 15, 16. Yeah, today is the 7th session of our third phase MCO, we can say, because we started all this sharing session since the first phase of the MCO. So today is our 7th session of the third phase. Okay, and we have a whole lot of Apple enthusiasts joining us to present and share their experiences as well as their knowledge on using iPad for online education during the pandemic. That's our title for this batch of presentation. We've got distinguished educator, we've got professional learning provider, professional learning specialist, as well as Apple teacher. Okay, next slide, Dr. Hati, thank you. And we would highly encourage you to join the Apple Learning Community Facebook page. Yeah, do join us. We'll share a whole lot of content there. Any information or any activities that we'll be conducting, we will be sharing on this platform. So please do join us on Facebook. And Dr. Hawati, I cannot see the left side of the screen. Okay. Thank you. Right. During this workshop, we'll be adhering to several rules. Okay, please ensure your mic is muted during the session, and because this is a session, this is a recorded session, so we want it to be clean and, if possible, not being disturbed by other noises during the presentation. Yeah. And please use the chat feature to ask questions during the presentation. If you have anything to ask, just type it in the Q&A, type it in the chat box. Okay? Because we've got a whole lot of other members here who would also be able to help answer your question other than the presenter. So, but there will also be a Q&A session at the end of each session. So you'll have the chance to ask directly to the presenter. Okay, do not use the screen sharing feature when trainer is sharing his or her presentation. And for participants who require attendance form, the borang kehadiran and feedback forms will be shown before this session ends. Smart attendance for UKM as well, UKM lecturers as well will be displayed at the end of the session. Right. So today's session will be gamifying the online learning experiences with animated digital storybooks using Keynote. So if any one of you have actually attended yesterday's session, this would be, we can say, an extended version of yesterday's session, yeah, because we are using the knowledge that you've learned yesterday, drawing and animating in Keynotes. So today, Dr. Harwati will be showing us how we can actually make it more interesting by making a digital storybooks. Okay, let me introduce Dr. Hawati a little bit before pass the screen to her. I mean, it's already with her. Anyway, okay, Dr. Hawati Hashim is the senior lecturer at the Center for Teaching and Learning Innovation, Faculty of Education, University Kebangsaan Malaysia, and currently the head of undergraduate program for teaching English as a second language, specializing in mobile assisted language learning, or in short, MAL. Her area of concentration are mobile learning, technology enhanced language learning, or TEL, as well as innovative pedagogy and the use of technology in language teaching and learning. She is a committee member of Pacific Computer Assisted Language Learning, PACAL. I hope I pronounce it correctly. PACAL, okay, PACAL. Association and Mobile Learning Association Malaysia, MLAM. She is an educational technology enthusiast, an M-learning practitioner, and also a certified Apple teacher. So I pass the floor to you, Dr. Hawati.
Thank you so much, Puan Asma, for the introduction, and thank you everyone for being with us here today. Thank you again for introducing me, but somehow allow me to introduce myself again very briefly. I am currently attached to Faculty of Education Malaysia under the Center for Teaching and Learning Innovations, and I am a senior lecturer there as well as the head of undergraduate program for TESOL. Again, I would like to share that my research area, perhaps we have any research partners here. So my area is mobile assisted language learning, or in short, MAL. I look into TEL as well, technology enhanced language learning, or innovative pedagogy in SL. I do look into active learning and also language learning strategies. And currently, I am teaching social media in language learning at the faculty, language learning strategies, current approaches, as well as academic writing. And as highlighted by Puan Asma just now, I'm one of the members of Pacific Computer Assisted Language Learning, or known as PACCOL Association, and also a member of Mobile Learning Association Malaysia. So, well, my background is language. I am an English teacher, if you would like to say that. But I am the educational technology enthusiast. I love technology a lot. I am currently a learning practitioner as well as an Apple teacher. Okay, but I think all of you have attended Puan Asma session yesterday, which was on drawing, right, Puan Asma? Yesterday.
Animation.
Animation. So today you can call it as part 2, because once you have had your animation, so what is the next steps? What can you do with whatever drawing or animation that you have done in Keynote? So, but today I would like to make it like another level, which is gamifying the online learning experiences with animated digital storybook using Keynote. Can anyone share with me in the chat box what would be the main keywords in this session? Perhaps a very short one. Okay, maybe a few seconds for you to share your answers in the chat box. What are the main keywords? Gamifying, yes, thank you. Gamifying, yes. Right, so everybody is looking at the gamifying.
Learning experience.
Learning experiences, yes. Animated, fun learning, and yes to all answers. Right, basically, I do agree that the 4 main keywords are gamifying, online learning experiences, animated digital storybooks, and you may be asking also why Keynote. So therefore, I highlighted all 4 phrases, all 4 keywords that I will touch in my presentation today, or what you call as in my sharing session. We are all in learning process. I'm learning as well. Nobody is an expert here. So we are all learning together. Okay, so allow me to start with the first slide. Well, I know we have a lot of professors, doctors, all experts here, probably more know better about gamification compared to me, because basically I'm a language background teacher. So therefore, I would like to highlight the definition of gamification before we go towards exploring or venturing gamification. That gamification is the application of game design principles and the inclusion of game elements in non-gaming context. In this context, we are integrating gamification in education. Okay, please let me know if I am too fast, so you can just share in the chat box so that I can slow down my presentation. Okay, and with that in mind, we have to also know what is the gamification concept. So in gamification, definitely there are many things to consider. But these are the main things to be considered, or concept or elements that need to be highlighted, which are goal, learning, okay, skills, achievement, challenge, reward, competition, and user engagement. It's not just about playing games, but it is all about how it is used to enhance learning. And that approach involves a lot of challenge-based learning, rewarding, a lot of user engagement, as some of you answered in the chat box, fun learning, and so on. Okay, so all right. So when we talk about online learning experiences, I believe everyone has become an expert now because of the MCO. Everybody, all educators, academicians, you have to somehow, we have no option but to use online learning, or perhaps you will name it as remote learning. But how to make that online learning meaningful? That is the main question here. And before we go further, allow me to briefly highlight things to consider to have meaningful online learning experiences which are adaptive. So make sure it is adaptive, it is based on students' prior knowledge, it has learning goals, and that it has to be personalized so that students feel more connected to the experience, to the learning experience. And I would say it is something that is highly visual. To make things meaningful, it has to be highly visual, it has to be active, it has to be thought-provoking, and it has to be interactive. And then only an online learning is, then only an online learning is what do you call meaningful? Interactions, a lot of interactions, and then engaging and also debating. Okay. And when we mentioned about animated digital storybook, someone did mention in the chat box, computerized storybooks. Yes, I agree. Thank you very much. And why it is animated digital storybook? When you want to produce an animated digital storybook, you need words, definitely. A storybook is still a storybook, you need words. But then you can also integrate or have some images. But when it comes to digital, it has to be created with a digital tool. And it involves a lot of multimedia components such as graphics, sounds, and video. And the best part about animated digital storybook is that it can be used for any content, regardless of subjects, for language, history, science, maths, physics, you name it. Okay? Right. And yeah, okay. And then one question asked, perhaps by most of the participants, most of my friends do ask me, why Keynote? Why iPad? Why Keynote? I would say that my answer is just because Keynote is a very powerful presentation tool. It has a lot of interactive images. It has a lot of action effects. You can draw, you can write, you can have cinematic transitions, a very dramatic presentation. It has hyperlink features, and in the end, it is a powerful tool to help you to create a compelling story. That what makes our animated digital storybooks memorable ones, meaningful to our students. Okay, right. So far so good. Can I see some?
So good. No questions.
Good.
All right. Okay, so what I'm going to share today is what my students and I are doing for our innovation project. We do something on animated digital storytelling for language learning. Perhaps I can show you some examples. Do enjoy. I'll play slowly. You enjoy. It may take a few minutes for you to go through.
so far.
Okay, so looking at that story, what do you think? For your information, I have actually chosen the first option, but the second option goes like this, because when we mirroring, the link function is not working, but somehow I have recorded a video for you to see what happened if I press the second option. Okay, so somehow, what I would like to emphasize now is what can you see from the story? Maybe you can share in the chat box.
Yeah. Dr. Hawati, I think we've got a few questions here. Some questions are mostly are talking about the narration or the dialogue.
Yes.
Someone asked, can we not include dialogue? And
yes, thank you for the suggestion. We are going to insert in voice narration. However, we have not found the most suitable voice to the character yet. So, yeah, it is part of the planning. We would like to put into voiceover to all narrations as well as to the scripts, but we need to find those with suitable voices. And yeah, thank you. That can also be done in Keynote.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. So, sorry, because I'm using few devices, so I'm handling wrong device. Okay.
Happened to me yesterday.
Yeah. So, okay. So, what do you think? Is that difficult? Something difficult for you to prepare using Keynote? What will be your opinion about it? Can you share in the chat box? Okay. Can we include actual recorded voice? Yes. You can use voiceover. Alright, okay, so if you do agree with me, it is a powerful tool for you to produce. It is not just a normal digital storybook, but you can convert your digital storybook into sort of you gamify your storybooks. How do we gamify? If you can see the one that we have, sort of a challenge, okay, sort of thrill. When Huck, the character is Huck. So when Huck need to make decision on whether or not to accept the offer, if he accepts the offer, he will have to go and find the scroll. If not, then he will have to fix the ship himself. So this is where students are actually challenged to make decision, or they are given options to continue the story, or sort of solving or complete some task given earlier. So it involves some kind of planning, storyboard, as well as what kind of challenges that you want to have in your animated digital storybooks. Yes, some of you did ask on what how to make voiceover. Everything can be done using Keynote. If you don't trust me, I would like to give it a try with you now. Is that okay?
Okay.
Do this together. Okay, as I mentioned just now, there are a few elements there. You need some sort of learning goals, you can put it in the beginning of the instruction or introduction. And then you need, of course, images. Of course, you need text. You need also some sort of reward animation. Like for example, like I have here, you earn 200 points or stars, and then
这个是大人的礼物盒，好。
Okay, so let's do this together. Okay, if you notice, I have sort of, what do you call this? This is a GIF file.
GIF.
Yes, okay. So this can, if you were to attend sessions conducted by Dr. Zakia in our previous Apple Professional Learning Series, she did share on how to produce GIF in using Keynote. So what we're going to do together now is to try to have that GIF for the man animation. So what you need to do now, if you can find one, don't worry, I'm not a good drawer myself. I'm not good at drawing. So you can either draw on your own, or what you can do is that you can find it and trace from the website anywhere. Like I have here, this is from ArtStation. If you were to go and find, there are a few in the internet. So you can just find a few. Maybe I give you some time for you to take one. If you know how to draw, please draw straight away. If you don't know how to draw, like myself, I don't know how to draw, so I'll have to trace. So you can take one. Okay. Maybe I can just delete this. Okay, I'll take one. Okay, but there are so many faces here, right? We just need one. So what you need to do is, can you see the brush on top, right, on your right at the top? So what you need to do is to tap on the image, tap edit mask. Okay. So when you edit mask, you just mark the area that you want. Okay, done. So we have only this. Okay, and don't forget to reduce the opacity. Oh, sorry, that is too much. Okay, and then of course you need a pencil for you to draw. So you can start drawing. Is everyone following? Is anyone trying? Yes. One is so focused. Okay, let's do this together. Let's do this
Dr.
together.
Hawati,
Yeah.
while we are at it, I do have a question here from Azlina. She's asking, would you say that the kind of narrative used in gamification would be something like a mystery or an adventure? An adventure?
Yes. It depends on your team. It could be a mystery, it could be an adventure, or it could be as simple as collecting points depending on how many answers able to find. So it depends on your own team. So here what I have here is more of an adventurous team. So yeah, you are free to choose. Set your own team. So shall we
That
draw?
answers your question, Azlina.
Is it Dr. Azrina? Is that you? So let's draw together, yeah?
She said yes. Dr. Azlina.
Okay, welcome. Thank you for joining. So I myself is not a good drawer. I am not good at drawing, definitely. I think with Keynote, like what Puan Asma has mentioned yesterday, anyone can draw, right, Puan Asma?
Yes, true.
Yeah. So you can just trace very fast. Okay. Don't worry about being too neat, because I think if it is like a comic or if it is like an animation, if you were to talk about students, they would prefer something like anime, more of sketching. Okay, so right, so what we have here, those who just came in, we are now trying to draw, or what do you call trace, a face of a man, a character. Okay, a very simple one. Right, I hope everyone is following so that you have the experience of producing it. Maybe after this, any of the participants may share your drawing so that I know I am not the only one doing the drawing. Okay.
No.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Doctor. So you can choose any character as you wish, as you like. But I like myself because this is an adventurous story, so I need someone, a man, a very masculine man, and I call him Huck. Actually, the name of my son. Okay.
All right. Sounds masculine.
Yeah, the name sounds masculine too, so therefore the voice has to be masculine. So, all right. Okay, so let's just put some colors. You want to put colors? Okay. Maybe I can just, maybe there are new participants today who did not attend Puan Asma session yesterday. So we have a few tools at the bottom of Keynotes. When you draw, you have either pen, pencil, crayon, fill in. This is eraser and this is selection tool, or what you call lasso, right? Okay, so you can use this, and I'm going to use this to color the character. Right, I'm not going to use blue color eyes because I want to localize this man. Okay, so let's just put some effects. Okay, so I think it is not difficult. What do you think, Puan Asma?
I was muted. So yeah, actually, it takes quite a lot of practice for you to get it right, but you'll have fun doing it actually.
Yeah, actually, that's why I said don't be too perfect. Just draw freely. Is Zahra here because an art teacher? Okay. So we have, okay, right. Maybe we can put some the face. Okay. And then here. Okay. Right, and then I want to this man, this character to have black color hair because I want it to be localized. He is a Malaysian citizen. Okay. My drawing, I have to make it fast. Okay. So the eyes looks yellow. Okay, let's just touch up the eyes. Right. Yeah. Almost done. Okay. So I'm done. How about the rest of the participants? So you can now delete, and voila, we have a character here.
One masculine man.
Very masculine man.
Yeah.
Called Huck.
At one glance, he looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm sorry. Who's that? That guy, Rainbow.
Rainbow. Yeah, very masculine man. Can we have a participant perhaps want to show or share whatever you have right now with you? Anyone?
Anybody would like to share your screen?
Anyone would like to share your screen? Show us what you've got.
I remember the name, Sylvester Stallone.
Okay. Wait, doctor.
Dr. Maniza, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you finished yours? Yes, Sylvester Stallone.
Yes. This is the one that I draw.
Okay, it's from. Can you show it again, Dr. Maniza? I didn't see your.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Just over the video, right? Oh, okay, then.
Yes.
Wow.
This one. This one.
Complete figure. Complete with the body, right?
Yeah, but not macho.
Dr. Hawati, you're muted.
Okay. So anyone else would like to share? Okay, right. No, if you don't have, now what I want to highlight here is that from this drawing, you can turn this into what do we call GIF file, yeah? But you don't have to redraw everything. What we need to do now, let's just copy this. Sorry about that noise here. The outside of my house. Okay, and let's make a few. Let's have like 4 copies. Okay, let's go to the second slide. This is the first slide. Okay, let's go to the second slide. Maybe because we want him to sort of like thinking, right? So you have to somehow use your imagination, and we may change a little bit of his expression. How do we do that? Is everyone following? Okay, so use the selection tool or lasso, and then you can just select here. Okay, separate, take it out, and delete. And of course, you need to redraw the eyebrow. Okay. So this time, perhaps a higher one, maybe deep thinking. Okay. And then, of course, because of some area is are affected, so you have to color it again. Okay. Check that area. Sorry, different color. Then you may want to add a frowning effect. Check what color is. Sorry. Some frowning effect here. Okay. Right. Done. And if you want to check, you can check from the first and the second one. You can see some movement. Yeah, it is like file down.
Raise eyebrow. Eyebrow.
Yes. Have a few more. Let's say don't spend too much time. Let's just have 3. The first one with a little bit of changes, and then the third one. Okay, let me just edit this a little bit. It looks a bit weird here. Okay, right. Okay. So when you want to change this into GIF, you need to change the background first. Make it no fill. Okay. All 3 slides. Make sure you use no fill. No fill. So we have 3 here, and these are to be converted into GIF file. what we need to do is to export. Okay. Animated GIF. Right. So slide 34 to slide 36. Go to slide range. Don't worry if it is too fast because I will try to slow down and repeat, but at the same time we have a recorded version. You can always refer back later. So we are now converting, exporting slide 34 to 36 into a GIF file. Okay, right. Make sure this transparent background is turned green. Okay. Make sure you click share, save in image. Right. So now, let's say I would have a blank screen, and if you want to trace back the GIF file just now, go to plus sign, take from photo, recent one, this one. So you have it here as a GIF file. So can you see the eyebrow is moving, and also scrolling. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. So anyone would like to share yours? Is it too fast?
Dr. Maniza is lost.
Everyone is so quiet. Oh yeah, because you are muted. Sorry. Okay. So if you have questions, you can always refer back to. You can put it in chat box, and there are many of us who will answer. Try to answer, and don't worry, we will also repeat the steps later on if we have time during the Q&A session. So first, make sure you have few images. If you can see animation, movies, or stories, yeah, this is what they are doing actually. They have to draw a few pictures to show movement. So as what we are doing now, we have just 3 slides, and then when we turn it into GIF file, it will be like this. So you have sort of this animation. Okay, right. Now you have animation. You can also keep this as image. How do you keep this as image when you want to, if you want to use it again? Because this is a story. To shorten time, perhaps you can reuse whatever you have drawn. You just need to save it in photo. Okay, right. Sorry. Okay, so we have our photo gallery here. Let's say you want to save this. Don't delete this after you have turned it into GIF, into GIF. So you can just, sorry, not this one, yeah. This one, drawing. Okay. See this blink. Okay, and keep it in drawing. So whenever you need it, it is there in the drawing. You can just paste it. Okay, no problem. So actually, you don't have to draw many times, except for if you want to have a different emotions, different animation from one place. Okay.
Dr. Hawati,
Yeah.
I think some of our participants are actually lost. But I think they can actually view back this video because this session is recorded. And,
Yes.
and we also have a session on GIF, animated GIF by Dr. Zakia previously, right? So that can also be, they can also refer to that.
Yes, actually we have touched all this in the previous session, but I know some of you are new, but it has to be explored. You try first, perhaps you were taking time drawing just now. So if I were to repeat the steps, yeah. First, definitely you need an image you draw. If you are not good at drawing, you can just trace from whatever image you found on the internet, and then color it as usual. But if you want to turn it into GIF file, as it is to be animated, you want to build animation, you will have to have a few drawings. Make sure it is of the same, don't change too much. Make sure it is of the same image. Just pay attention to what you want to change. Like in this image, I want to change the eyebrow movement. Okay, so as you can see here, so when we turn into GIF, before that, once you have for drawing like this, okay, so make sure you change the background to no fill. Okay, no fill, make sure it is no fill. If it is white background, when you change GIF, if you were to change your background later, the white color is still there. So therefore, we don't want any white color to be exist. So we want it to be no fill. So whenever we copy and paste in our slides or in our presentation, whatever color of your background, it will not affect. Okay. So change all background to no fill. And
How do we change the background? The brush, right?
to the brush.
Okay.
Okay, can you see the background?
No, it's only orange. Oh, because okay, I think I know it.
Okay, so you have to tap the background and
Yes, okay. Found it.
do all slides. Then again, if I were to repeat how to convert into GIF, click the three dots here on the right side on top, the three dots. Tap on export. Okay, and then choose animated GIF. As you do that, you need to choose the slide range. Remember, or else all slides will be turned into GIF. You just want some specific slides. So you need to set the slide from, like, for example, what I have here, 39 to 42, for example. So to 42, and then you export. Export, tap share, tap save image. And it is in your, how do you want to take it out from and put it in your presentation? Like for example, if I were to repeat, okay, just tap on the plus sign on the right side, on top, plus sign. So you have a few options here, right? Okay, the last one is other options, other choices. And we have to choose photo. Take from the recent one. There you go. Your GIF file just now. So it is now animated. Okay. All right. So I think I have repeated twice, but don't worry. If we have time, I can repeat again in Q&A session, as well as you can always refer back to the recorded session. You can pause and then try it again and again. Okay. So if I were to proceed, may I? Okay. All right. Macam mana nak dapatkan video? Yes, we will share the video in our Apple Learning community Facebook. Please do join our Apple Learning community. So you will have all updated videos, information in our Apple Learning community. Okay. So now what?
Can I share mine?
Okay. Yes, please. Yes. Why not sharing?
A little bit funny.
And, yes. Wow.
So
It's like
animated.
jumping down. It's a good start.
Learn more.
Yes, yes. You have to explore more. You have to somehow imagine, yeah, because it's not easy
Yes.
for you. If you were to draw a working page, you have to change step by step. Okay. So now,
Yes.
what we need next is to have some text. You can either, I think this has been touched before in our learning professional learning series. So as usual, what you need is you can add shapes. And I can see some of the questions from the participant. Can we not have the dialogue bubble or whatsoever? It's up to you. It's your story. If you want to put it in a form of sentences, it's up to you. It's your choice. Okay. So if you want to put in the bubble, dialogue bubble, you can choose from the plus sign on the right side, and you can choose from shape. So go to basic shapes, and it is there here. Okay. Right. So you can just add that, and also you can add text to it. Hello. Okay. Right. As simple as that. Okay, I don't want to focus on that because this is quite simple. And then And again, you need to have sort of other drawings and images, like for example, in this animated storybook, I have sort of scroll. So you may want to draw scroll. And also, if you were to look at these slides, you can see sort of what do we call challenge completed. Maybe I can replay. Okay, so there are a few elements there. You need the tab button, okay, the tab object. You need the object itself, okay. This can also be done the same steps as in the dialog box just now. You can either choose from whatever available, or if you want to draw on your own, it's up to you, okay. All right, but what I would like to focus on how to gamify a digital storybook is that when students or players or users, they play games, they need to earn points, right? So what you need to add is some elements of earning points, and then also some what do you call money sounds, is it? And
Points.
rewards given. And also you need soundtrack as well, right? Okay, so how do we get the soundtrack? I can show you. Previously, we have learned GarageBand by Dr. Helmi in Apple Professional Learning Series. So I'm going to show a very quick one, a very simple one. But don't worry, if we have time, I will repeat, or else you can just watch the video. Okay, so you need to have your GarageBand. Okay. So like for example, let's go to this one. You have to use your imagination. You have to somehow become a composer. Okay. So what I have here is I sort of compose the winning sounds and also the rain effect, as you can see from my interface or whatever I'm sharing now. Let's go for the simplest one, which is this one. These sounds. As simple as that. So what you need to do is to go to GarageBand, and then you can see on top in the middle between live loops and tracks. Okay, so go to live loops, and there are a lot of options here for you to play around with. You don't have to be you don't have to be able to play music instruments, but you can just use your imagination and creativity. So where did I get that? Is from so Toybox. Okay, so you can test a few sounds here. Okay, but what we need is the reward sound just now. So you can just test each one of it. So after tested, I found this sounds is much more related to that money, kaching sounds, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like
You like kaching. Okay. Right. So what you need to do is to press the red button to record. Okay. Okay. Right. Stop. So only that sound. Okay. Then go up. Sorry. Okay, so this is too far. I don't want it to be started quite deep when we play later. Okay, so we have it there. Now, we have your My Song 25 here. Let's change it first. The name, sorry. Okay. Okay, let's change the name. Okay. So that you don't get yourself confused later. Let's call it Kaching. Okay, sorry. Where is my Kaching? So you need to share this. Okay. Tap song. Okay. Tap share. Open in. Okay. So allow some time for it to export. There is some sort of delay because of the airplay. So bear with me. Thank you.
Just a reminder, Dr. Hawati, we are at 3:23, so
Yeah, so
approaching.
yeah, I'm too excited and too many things to share, right? Okay. Some time for it to export, maybe because of the airplay, because I have received notification just now, there will be some delay. Okay, all right. So save to file. Okay, in Keynote. Right. So when you open your Keynote, okay, tap the plus sign on the right side. Go to the last one, which is on the photo, camera, image gallery, and so on. We choose insert from. Now you have your kaching there. Can you see? Okay, tap on that, and it is now in your slide. Okay, so there are many other soundtracks that you can compose. Like for example, I composed this myself. Okay, so I composed. Okay, so they are all I composed myself, and then this one is to be drawn, and also definitely you need to add some animation. I think Asma also did touch on animation yesterday, so you can insert in sort of bundles of animation in the animation option, so you can just try out any animation that is suitable to your storyline. Okay. And don't forget, one more thing for you to have in gamification is that to have sort of what you call challenge again, is for them to choose the either options, or for them to choose the next storyline, or for them to make decisions. So this can be done by just putting shapes, adding some sentences to it, and also can be using link. Like for example, the one that I have just now, let's say, how many minutes do we have? Okay, let's say this one, if I were to play. Okay. So I choose the first one. Okay, I'll find it for you. And blah blah blah. So the story goes like that. On the right. So far so good. I know we are somewhat long. Sorry for that. I have repeated now the first one on, and also for the GarageBand. I have given the simplest example. Compose your own songs, okay, in the end, right? But
Dr. Harwati,
yeah.
for the yang contoh sebelum ni ada two choices tu kan? You made a link, for each option.
Yes, this is where you put a link to it by using a link function.
Okay, great. And then we select which that we want to link to those. I see. Okay, great. Thank you.
Make sure you have your storyboard planned earlier, so that you can put the link later. Put the link at the end of the story so that it's easier for you to see the flow. So, but
I see.
The storyboard for you to plan your gamified digital storybook.
All right. Thank you.
Right. Welcome. Okay, so these are more examples that I have. Maybe I can just show. Like for example, drawing of this different animation. Okay, and this one, you can see the outdoor combination of GIF from a few slides. Okay, these are all different slides. And then also from different slides converted into GIF. And also the bird shooting and everything is all in the GarageBand, so you don't have to worry. So just what you need to do is to just explore GarageBand and find either in live loops or you compose yourself using the live instrument just now. Okay, and time is running, so therefore maybe I can just show few more examples that you can do in as for language activities. Apart from that, you can also ask students to look for meanings. Like for example, what we have here, I simply highlighted the word explorer, change it into a different color, and you can actually ask your students to check by using define, check the definition. So students can actually look for meanings using, like in here, if the students is not sure what is the meaning of explorer, so he or she can use the define function and then define feature, and voila, the definition is there. And I have another example. If let's say students is not sure what is the meaning of frag, they can just use the define feature. Okay, can you see the define beside replace? Okay, and then students should be able to check the meaning of frag, for example. Okay, all right. So yeah, I've seen some question on how to export these files when it is developed or when it is completed. So they if you want to have exactly as it is, there are only two ways, which is from Keynote file to Keynote file. If your students are using iPhone, you can just send to them using Telegram. If the story is not too long, because the multimedia, the builds will affect the what you call the capacity or whether it is heavy or not when you want to send to students using Telegram. And the other way is by using HTML file, whereby you need to use, not on iPad, but you need to use your MacBook to export it into a HTML file, and that HTML file can be played using MacBook just by clicking on the HTML file, or if you have your website, if you have blogs, you can have it plugged in your website. It can be played as it is. So this two file allows for the sharing of the file to be played as it is. If you were to change it to PDF or PowerPoint, it will somehow affect the animation and the builds that you have in your presentation or your digital storybook. Okay, so don't worry, I'm towards the end. Okay.
I think one of the few features.
Okay, so again, if I
highlighting that.
yeah, sorry. Anyone says anything? Okay, so if I were to highlight back again the concept of gamification, can all this be done using Keynote? Yes, you can have goals of your animated digital storybook. You can have learning as well. Okay, you can test or improve skills. You can let students to improve their skills. It can have some sort of achievement. Yes. Okay. Can we beat challenges? Yes. Can we have rewarding system? Yes. Can we have sort of competition? Yes. It is somehow the matter of planning things, and can it involve user engagement? Yes. And I'm sure that students will feel learning is much fun by having, if you were to ask them to read storybooks or digital storybooks, if we were to have like digital storybook sort of like a substitute to a traditional storybook, it may look more or less the same as what traditional one or physical storybook. But if you were to have it gamified, it is worth doing, as it may in the end create fun learning. Okay, so I believe by doing this using Keynote and building or designing your gamified animated digital storybook, it will make learning engaging, more interactive, very personalized, yeah, because when you ask them to choose answers, it depends on how they like it. And also, if we have different type of learners, either visual, kinesthetic, or audio, all are in one. And the best part is for me, the best part is the ownership. Everything is your own from scratch, from drawing to composing to storyline. Everything 100% is your own. Okay, so what more you want from using Keynote? Right. Okay, for Nasma, I think I'm towards the end. Before that, let me end my sharing session. I hope it is beneficial for everybody. Let me end with this quote. Right. Fun is rooted in diversity. When we do things that are not a typical part of our routine, and we add our other primary motivators, adding some achievements, belongings, recognitions, excellence, personal growth, and then craft fun. Okay, so don't forget hashtag everyone can create, everyone can gamify. I think that's all for me, for Nasma. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Hawati. Yeah, I thought I was muted just now. Thank you, Dr. Hawati. Yeah. I agree when you said the ownership part, yeah, because previously when I was working as an instructional designer, I remember all this animation, the putting in the audio and voiceover, all are done by the animation team or the multimedia team. So the designer is just coming out with the storyboards. So now we can actually do it ourselves. Don't have to rely on another team to do it. So that's the interesting part of it.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
It is like 100% your own. So
yes, true. Okay. So before we end, is there any questions from the participants for Dr. Hawati? People have been asking where can they view again the video. So we've shared the links in the chat room.
Inshallah, it will be up in the Facebook by tomorrow or the day after tomorrow.
Yes.
Now you can exploring drawing and everything.
Yes. I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. When we sketch the image, we change the background to black background, right?
Mm-hmm.
And later on, I think I missed that. How you make the background? You know, is it you use lasso to just choose the image, transfer it to new slide? Because when you in the storytelling, the background is no longer black.
Oh, if we have our let's say once you have your GIF file just now, maybe I can just put one example here. Okay, let's say if you have your GIF file just now, it is going to be like this. When you put it in your slide, so it is white background, right? So you can change your background using the same brush.
Actually, my GIF black background.
Oh,
Not sure what did I do wrong.
Perhaps you have chosen the wrong because yeah, it has to
choose no fill, right?
No fill. Yeah. Yes, you have to choose the black.
I see.
Black, this is black, but you choose no fill.
No fill. I see. All right. Okay, got it.
So okay, when you change your background here, it will not affect. Like for example, let's say I change this into this color. Okay, no problem. This color, no problem. This color, no problem. Whatever color, still not affected.
I see. Okay. So before we export it or save it, we just make sure that background is no fill, right?
Yes. Use no fill.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just ensure that, but it's okay. You can just repeat the same process and then choose the no fill background and repeat the process again. It will be enough. Well.
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. For Asma.
Yeah. So far. Okay. Now Hafiza was asking, how about copyright issue? Can we enroll our final work as an as one of intellectual property?
Yes, definitely. This is intellectual property because actually every single line that you draw, images, could be sent for copyright. But the whole story, just send the whole story for copyright. from your institution, and then it's yours. Send for copyright. That would be a better way of doing things, because everything is online. So if you don't copyright it, it becomes common common use of for everybody.
Dr. Hati, can you share again the slides for the moderator?
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess
I don't think there's no more notes hari ini. Kat mana saya boleh dapatkan Puan Asma? I'm sorry, there is no notes, but we will have the recorded version uploaded in our Facebook Apple Learning Community. You can have it there. You can play it again and again and try to do it as you listen or watch the recorded version. Thank you.
Okay, I guess that's all, yeah. Thank you everyone for joining us. So before we end the session, please do provide your feedback for this particular session by you can scan the QR code